Before the Revolutionary War, that is, before the United States became America, three major groups fought over the land. The French, British, and many Native American tribes battled for North America. At this time, a young George Washington sided with the British against the French. Both sides built forts to wage war. In the end, Britain was victorious and took over most of North America. But the war had been expensive and the British were out of money. They tried taxing the people, but this only made them angry. In the end, British victory in the French and Indian War would only lead to defeat. Even the once loyal George Washington, commander of the British forces, would turn against them. The outcome of the French and Indian War set early colonists on a path to control North America and birth a country of their own.
In 1753, a young man set out to deliver an important letter. There were few roads where he was going. The weather was awful. It rained or snowed many days. Once someone shot at him. Going home, he fell into a freezing river.
I can't say
He wrote later
that ever in my life I suffered so much anxiety.
The young man was George Washington. The letter was from the governor of Virginia to the French military leader in the Ohio River Valley. Virginia claimed this area. The governor was ordering the French to give up their land holdings in the valley. Washington delivered his letter and received the answer: wet, cold, and tired. He arrived back in Virginia with the bad news. The French would not leave the region without a fight.
Long before George Washington's trip, the Iroquois fought with other Native American groups for control of the Ohio River Valley. When British fur traders entered the area in the 1740s, a similar struggle arose between the French and the British. The Iroquois remained neutral in the struggle and traded with both sides.
The French feared, however, that the Iroquois would eventually unite with the British against them. To protect their fur trade and their claims on the land, the French built a line of sturdy forts. Fort Calulan protected their claims in the north, while Fort Duquesne guarded the place, where the Ohio and Allegheny River met.
This action worried the British and their colonists. These forts kept them from trading furs and farming the land. Who would control this fertile river valley? In 1754, the governor of Virginia again sent George Washington to challenge the French. This time Washington had 150 men with him. They built a simple fort for protection and called it Fort Necessity. Within weeks, French forces attacked Fort Necessity.
They had twice as many troops. Washington and his men held out for 9 hours in the pouring rain, but finally had to surrender. The French let them go home. Although Washington lost the battle, he gained valuable experience as a military leader.
During this time, the colonies also gained valuable experience, not in fighting, but in bringing people together. In 1754, 7 colonies sent representatives to a Congress or meeting of representatives in Albany, New York. There they met with the Iroquois chiefs. They tried to persuade the Iroquois to join with the British and their colonists, but the Iroquois would not take sides.
Some people thought the colonists needed to help each other.
Benjamin Franklin, who attended the Congress, had an idea called the Albany Plan of Union. He wanted the colonies to join together to fight the French.
The colonies rejected Franklin's plan. They were not ready to work together for a common goal.
In 1755, British General Braddock arrived in the colonies with an army of 1,000 men. His orders were to drive the French out of the Ohio River Valley. But Braddock never reached his target. His army was attacked by a smaller force of Native Americans and French. Braddock was killed, and his troops suffered heavy losses. Washington, who was there, said the British soldiers ran as sheep pursued by dogs. With Braddock's defeat, many Native Americans joined the French. They became allies. Allies are people who join together for a specific purpose. These Native Americans hoped a French victory would keep British colonists from taking the land. Britain declared war on France in 1756, officially beginning what we call the French and Indian War. This war was a contest for control over North America. British also fought the French in Europe, as far away as India. Because it went on for 7 years, this larger struggle is often called the 7 Years' War.